The Chinese have their mind-boggling herbs and traditional remedies with a history that goes back thousands of years. Records show Chinese presence in Singapore from as early as the 14th century. Many of them left their homes in search of work and landed here just as Singapore began to develop into a trading post. As a result, we have a rich Chinese cultural heritage that includes their traditions and customs. The Chinese believe that in order to exude external beauty, you have to first be naturally healthy inside. This week, I am on the hunt for ancient Chinese secrets to health and beauty. But if my research serves me well, I have to start from the inside. Oops, looks like I'll have to make alternative plans for lunch. So out goes the char kway teow and in comes herbal soups and herbal drinks.
Oh, excuse me. And if, like me, you like that little lion every once in a while, who doesn't, right? Have I got news for you. According to the ancient Chinese, forego the sleeping if you really want your best mind, body, and soul, and get up early. Well, since I'm up already, I thought, why not brew myself a traditional perk-me-up tonic like cheng. And you're thinking, come on, that's a dessert, right? Ah, but you are wrong, my friend. Because cheng, according to the ancient Chinese, was actually considered to be a fortifying daily tonic. Sweetness and all, people drank it every day because they believed that it gave them great health. I'm gonna go with long ants, honey dates, and of course, lovely dried red dates. Now, just in a pot of 4 to 5 bowls of cool, tepid water, I'm gonna put in 2 tablespoons. Who would have known? They're actually great for improving your concentration. Next, these glorious honey dates. They're just fabulously sweet. Plop it right in. Next in, dried red dates. Now these are wonderful because they actually relieve stress. So that's it, lid on, and this needs to go on low heat on the stove for about 15 minutes or until it starts bubbling and boiling. Ooh, brilliant. Bubbling very nicely. Perfect timing for the second half of this recipe. You know what's really interesting? The first half of the recipe is made with dark ingredients. The second half with lighter ingredients. I'm gonna grab a mixing bowl. Now, I love white fungus. Look at that. It's such a beautiful thing. And what you need to do is actually tear bits of it into the bowl. It just makes it easier to eat. White fungus. A lot of people know this, but I just have to reiterate, it's great for complexion. Okay, next in will be my lovely lily buds, and just like its name suggests, lily root is known to actually calm a restless spirit, just like mine. And then just break each of these pieces up. Next up, lotus seeds, a nice handful. Of course, we need something extra special to go in here. Now, ginkgo nuts. It's already been well documented that ginkgo nuts improve one's memory. So I'm just gonna get these nuts, and I need to break each of them by hand. The skin is quite soft. Pull out the ginkgo nut and plop it in. Just kind of mix it all in and into the pot. Remember to always watch out for the steam when you take the lid off, and then just add the rest of the ingredients in. Of course, for a little added sweetness, rock sugar. I'm just gonna give it a little stir to make sure all the ingredients are nicely dispersed.
Recipe for cheng. Bring water, long ants, honey dates, and red dates to boil. Add in the lotus seeds, lily bulbs, white fungus, ginkgo nuts, and rock sugar. Simmer for 30 minutes or until lotus seeds turn soft. Serve cold or hot.
I finally get to try the fruits of my labor. The sages of ancient China really knew what they were talking about when they advocated getting up early. Not only did I get to make my divine cheng, I got a great early start on the day. I'm in need of some really great herbal wisdom, and I think I know just the person to ask.
The ancient Chinese are known for their herbal soups. In fact, they believe that soup helps digestion after a meal. And of course, herbal soups are famous for their reputed medicinal properties. I'm going to meet a lady who knows something about this practice. This is Kampong Senang, which means village of inner peace, where the advice to us busy bees is to slow down, enjoy nature, and let the holistic way of life take over.
I'm looking for Auntie Yong, who just happens to be an expert in the art of organic herbal soups. Hello, Auntie Yong.
Yes.
Wow, what are you making? Smells very good.
Yeah, 今天因为在煮冬瓜汤
So why do Chinese people like to drink soup?
这是传统啦，可以养生滋润这些。
So is there any kind of history or story behind eating soups from the old days?
这是古代啊，就喜欢喝炖汤、药材它是可以补养身体啦。
So Auntie, let me help you make the soup. You have a glove for me?
Have.
Great. So what is it about the soups here at Kampong Senang that are so special?
因为甘榜新浪是全部是用有机的蔬菜啦，来熬这些汤，不像外面的是用排骨啦，但是蔬菜也是可以滋润我们的身体，也是可以补养身体。
And you're putting some herbs in here also.
这个是玉竹啦，可以给它有一种甜味啦。红枣是可以补气呀。这个枸杞子是可以补我们的眼睛、肝、肾，因为它是天然的。
Very nutritious. So how long will you boil the soup?
如果你要喝凉的话，就是1个小时到45分钟可以。如果你要喝滋润的话，差不多2个小时。冬瓜汤
Very nice. Delicious.
刚才我有煮了一锅汤，
Wow.
这是番薯芥菜汤。
Oh, that's wonderful. That's sweet potato and green vegetable.
可以对你有意义啦，因为这个是可以降火。
Okay, let me have a taste. Auntie Yong, this is a fantastic soup. This is really something else. It's just a few simple organic ingredients, just 3 in fact. Touch of salt and this beautiful soup. It's equal parts sweet and a little bit bitter. Makes you feel very cleansed, very clean. Auntie Yong, do you know, besides soups, do the ladies of Imperial China ever have any other beauty secrets? Like maybe something I could use for my skin or my feet?
我有一些秘方啊。
You're gonna give me a special recipe?
我可以写给你啊。
Great.
然后我还有一个枸杞子啊，枸杞子
Okay. I know those.
这枸杞子就一起的秘方全部给你。
Thank you for your wonderful soup. I've learned a lot here, and now I've got my fabulous and extremely short list, may I say. A little extra ingredient, and I think I'm gonna have to hit a traditional Chinese medicine shop really soon. Thank you, Auntie Yong.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Had my first traditional but also an organic herbal soup made by Auntie Yong. Taste takes a bit of getting used to, especially if you're not into herbs and stuff. But there must be really something about their healing properties. I already feel strangely recharged. Maybe I should make it a point to have a bowl regularly. Herbal formulas were so much a part of ancient Chinese culture that even the imperial families used to collect them for beauty and good health. Interestingly, the history of Chinese beauty is the history of natural remedies, some comprising more than 20 herbs.
I absolutely love the smell of a traditional Chinese medicine shop. I'm convinced that smelling the herbs is as good for you as ingesting them. Hello, Uncle. Can you get for me? Thank you. Thank you, Uncle. I've got my herbs and they all promise so much. Black sesame is really one of my all-time favorite desserts, but now it has greater importance in my life because I've just found out black sesame darkens your hair, actually makes your hair darker. It also contains essential fats that your body really needs, and it's really great for your heart. Now this is exactly what I've been looking for. The genuine stuff. It's dried chrysanthemums. You know, they're dried, but they still smell so fresh. Auntie, can I have 100 grams? For centuries, China's traditional herbalists have worked with every part of the plant in order to make traditional remedies. We're talking about the roots, the seeds, the plant itself, even the fungus. These are dried and preserved until their goodness is released through things like tonics and soups, just like I'm about to do with my precious chrysanthemums.
There's surely nothing more traditional in Chinese custom than qi-gong. The practice is rooted in the desire to maintain long-term good health. It is said that the human body has an energy field called qi that is influenced by our natural breathing process. Qi means breathe, and gong means work. Qi-gong is therefore the art of managing your breathing to maintain good health, which in turn is reflected on our faces, believed to be the mirrors of our health. For practitioners of qi-gong, the flow of the human energy is undeniably linked to health. Manipulating the qi is believed to reduce the heart rate and blood pressure, dilate the blood vessels, and enhance oxygenation. The gentle movements enhance balance, build strength, coordination, and focus. Judging from how qi-gong masters seem to personify serenity, vitality, and longevity, some believe that qi-gong can delay aging. Now that's a beauty secret worth sharing with everyone. The ancient Chinese aren't the only ones who believe in the interrelation between our inner and outer selves. It seems that a lot more people are returning to their roots and adopting a holistic approach to living. Maybe I should seriously be thinking about doing that too. Betty Khoo was founder and editor of fashion magazine Her World, who firmly believes in the healthy goodness of natural foods. She is passionate about natural therapy and, like the ancient Chinese, believes that beauty comes from inside, literally.
I describe myself as an environmental researcher, very passionate writer. Over these years, I have met many cancer sufferers who, because of this understanding that the mind is all-powerful and if we believe that we can heal ourselves through natural ways, then we can reverse any kind of sickness, any kind of disease, including cancer. I decided to put it all in a book called Cancer Cured Naturally. Just over 10 years ago, I turned vegetarian. And there's also a big difference between healthy vegetarian and not so healthy, which means also making sure that you don't have a lot of deep fried foods, no white sugar, no table salt. But it was also a culinary journey. I started to discover the taste sensation of freshly grown, organically grown foods that you can just pluck straight the fruit from the tree. We are literally what we eat. So if we keep on putting foods that have no nourishment, then it manifests itself in acne, pimples, allergies. And how can we have vibrant beauty if we do not really clean our systems and make sure that we feed ourselves with the right nutritious foods? This is what I've harvested from the garden. Now, the base of the salad is the green papaya. Select a papaya that is just about to ripen. Then I'm going to cut it in half. This is perfect. Actually, the seeds can also be eaten. It's very good for children with worms. In Southeast Asian native folklore, these seeds are very medicinal. Now I shall peel this. Now I'm going to cut this quite fine. What we want is to have it thin, not too big. This is the leaf from the bitter gourd plant. You can eat it straight, raw also, just like that. We've got the fruits of the rosella. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this. This is actually the bread, it's not the flour. And just put it in. It's sour and very, very tasty. We come to, I see here, cherry tomatoes. Now we must prepare food as close to eating time as possible. Unfortunately, when you go to a fruit stall and you find all the fruits have been cut up already for juicing, they would have lost much of their nutrients. Now we've also got some basil. This is Mediterranean basil. It's very aromatic. I like to chop it really finely because sometimes people find the taste too strong. This was a little zucchini that was harvested this morning. It's really fresh. I should add this to the salad. This is the 7-star needle. I'll tear it up and put it in because this is not a strong tasting leaf. Now, here's some soy sauce. Try and get organic soy sauce if you can. Now I've got these little limes, also known as calamansi. Now we have a salad that's all ready to be eaten, fresh, crunchy, full of nutrition, and that's what we want. Nature is my God, to quote Mikhail Gorbachev, the former Prime Minister of the Soviet Union, because I believe that we are all one with nature, every single one of us.
Gosh, what a week it has been. I have discovered such a mind-boggling variety of Chinese herbs that it has really convinced me I need to change the way I eat. I've got some herbal ingredients that I'm going to use to create a really soothing foot soak, which by the way was really popular in imperial times in China with Qing royalty. Ah, there are my fabulous herbal treasures, Dong Guai and qi, available at any traditional Chinese medicine shop. So I need a couple of tablespoons of each of these, but I'm just going to use my hands. Because it's so simple, you just need to throw it into a bowl. Now, with the qi, just sort of measure it out just onto the front of your palm. And then to add to that, dried chrysanthemum flowers. Not only because they just smell really gorgeous, but who knew that chrysanthemums were actually skin softeners? And I would suggest that you break them up a little bit because it does come sort of matted together. And to top that off, beautiful, beautiful peppermint, dried peppermint leaves. And what peppermint does really is it just cools it all down. And of course, the pièce de résistance of this entire foot soak is old ginger. I'm just gonna take a little piece off here. All I need is about a teaspoon of the juice. Put it in my pounder and I'm gonna give it a really good beating. Brilliant. I'm just gonna scoop it out of here and I'm gonna squeeze it right in. Look at that. And to that, you're just adding hot water so that you can really get the essence of all the ingredients out of there. Yummy. Beautiful. And very colorful. So I'm just gonna give it a little stir around, have a little smell. Wow, fantastic. I'm gonna leave it for a little while just to cool off.
Recipe for foot soak. Add the dried chrysanthemum flowers and herbs into a basin. Add a handful of peppermint leaves to the mixture. Pour hot water into the tub and let it steep for at least 20 minutes before use.
Now while I'm leaving the foot soak to cool, I'm gonna whip up a lovely cooling powder. Now this requires simple ingredients again, rice and some herbs. Now I've actually got some rice right here. I took dry rice and I soaked it for about 30 minutes. And the result of it is that I've got these lovely sort of watery grains which are not really wet but nice and plump, and just makes it easier for me to actually grind it. Just to make sure all the moisture's out, I'm just gonna place it in this little flannel towel. Just gonna make sure it's all nice and dry in there. And then straight into my mortar and pestle to be ground up into a really fine powder. I've given that quite a sufficient grinding for the moment. It smells great. I'm going to just get my next ingredient, which is where the herbal delights all start. And this is Ko. Nice. It's a really, really soft herb, and I'm just gonna grind that right in. Next, I need a 1/4 teaspoon of qi. Just gonna grab that. Now, qi is a little bit tougher, so it's fibrous. You wanna just get a little bit of it off like that, and that gets nicely ground in as well. I'm gonna add my final ingredient, tongsang. So I'm gonna cut it into tiny pieces. The bulk of this talcum powder really is the rice, and all the herbal ingredients just add this wonderful aroma. Amazing. Just gonna put that into the bowl. This is really beautiful. It's so fine. I would use it the way I would an ordinary talcum powder. Well, I'm just going to put this into a bottle because I really, really want to keep this. Perfect. Give that a little shake. And now I am going to that foot soak that has been patiently waiting for me.
Recipe for cooling powder. Blend each ground ingredient together. Sprinkle on like normal talcum powder. Store remainder in an airtight bottle. I'm amazed by what I've learned about Chinese traditions. Who would have thought that in this modern day and age, we can still find ancient recipes for natural health and beauty treatments? If these remedies can be preserved and passed on to the next generation, then perhaps there's still hope for those of us who've been abusing our health all these years to reverse these harmful effects.